A new trailer for Alien Romulus has been released, giving us a further look into the terror that awaits us on Renaissance Station in the Alien franchise's latest installment from Fede Alvarez. The trailer has some intriguing moments, and I'd like to go through those, in hopefully the least spoilery way possible. If you happen to be avoiding the trailer in order to go in as fresh as possible, then it goes without saying this video is not for you. Spoiler warnings nevertheless, because I also address some theories that I have talked about in previous videos. I do have to say though, I don't feel like we've been given a huge amount of spoilers with this trailer, at least not in a big picture sense. It actually feels almost like a teaser still. Not a lot is being given away in terms of plot, and the impression we're left with is that there is a space station, there's aliens on it, and a lot of bad things are going to happen. And we've pretty much known that since day one. So with this new trailer, we can pretty much seal the fates of characters played by Aileen Wu, Isabella Merced, and possibly Archie Renault. There are sure to be mysteries unveiled beyond the shocking deaths we'd more than likely be able to telegraph from the beginning of the film anyway. There are plenty of money shots that, as an Alien fan, will have you leaning in and wondering what this is all about. What we know from the synopsis and from some of Alvarez's revelations in interviews is that the main characters we follow are scavengers, and they've happened upon this isolated space station. They come from a bleak colony life, which we see a little of in the trailer here, and whatever they may happen to find on the station could be the key to escaping that life and starting anew. Anyone watching the trailer without that context may not exactly pick up on all that, but at least get a sense of it. There's some dialogue shared between David Johnson's character Andy, who I guess we can all agree is an android, and Kaylee Spaney's character, Rain Carradine. He asks her, "Is this really where you want to spend the rest of your life?" She replies, "You know I don't." This is interesting to me because this seems to be a running theme through all of Alvarez's films so far. Wanting an escape of some kind, and the desire to claim a new life at the end of the struggle. We saw that with Jane Levy's character in Evil Dead, battling drug addiction and wanting to overcome it through a detox in the isolated cabin in the woods. We saw it in Don't Breathe, another character from Levy living a desperate life, barely making ends meet, and taking the risk of robbing the blind man, who was a lot more of a danger than any of those characters bargained for. The characters from Romulus are trying to escape something, and very clearly get a lot more than they bargained for as well. The trailer gives us some nice shots of inside this space station, including one where we see a facehugger hiding just in the upper right of the frame. There's the unmistakable signature of Xenomorph XX121 blood that has eaten through several floors. There's a shot of Andy, and what's behind him seems to confirm what was sparking some speculation from an earlier released image of the film. There is a hive of some kind within this station. Further to that, we have the return of the blue mist, so memorable from the derelict's hold of the first film. It's hard to believe it's taken until now for that to appear in another Alien movie. Side note, it was actually meant to be a detail included in the hive sequence of Alien 3, but that aspect was omitted altogether. Throughout all of this, as the tension rises in the trailer, we hear the very familiar sound of the motion tracker from Aliens. We don't actually see one, or the iconic imagery that comes along with it, but there is an earlier version of the pulse rifle to be seen in the film, so maybe we'll have an earlier version of the motion tracker too. But, it's also possible this is just purely for the trailer and for the trailer alone. We've been fooled before. Remember the opening titles for Aliens vs. Predator Requiem and how for some reason they played the motion tracker sounds, though no such thing was present in the movie? So I guess I'll hold my breath on that. As we know from the teaser trailer, Aileen Wu gets facehugged, and we see that same shot in this trailer too. But there's another really eerie moment here in this trailer where we see that she has taken this light that beams through the inside of her body and we can see the parasite inside of her. This is followed by a really gnarly noise of what must be the alien bursting its way out. Really good stuff, really good sound design. You almost don't even need to see it to be scared. There is a lab on the Romulus faction of the Renaissance Station, and it seems to be harboring facehuggers. They aren't coming out of the traditional eggs, however. They're almost these artificially rendered eggs that can grow a facehugger within and ultimately serve the same purpose. If I were to venture a guess, this could relate to a popular theory about the film that we'll be seeing Big Chap from the original 1979 Alien returning for Romulus. If the theory holds that the xenomorph has regenerative abilities and can be restored, then that would mean Weyland-Yutani scientists have retrieved it and used it as a host for their experimentation. So while maybe there is no queen laying eggs, they could clone the alien's DNA in a similar way we've seen in the unused William Gibson story for Alien 3. But instead of pods and spores, there are artificial eggs which grow very real facehuggers. As others have noticed about the glimpses we've seen of these facehuggers from Romulus, they do look a little bit different than what we're used to, so that may be the reason as to why. And maybe all of this is just because there's no queen. Just not yet. There are a few shots here that make me wonder if we will see one. Who knows, it could even be Big Chap molting into a queen. I think that could be interesting. Much in the tradition of alien films past, this looks to have all the makings of a tense film about a desperate struggle to survive. There looks to be a very cool zero-gravity sequence, also shown briefly in the teaser, but here it looks like the acid blood is floating around too, which is nice. And it looks like there will be some fighting against the alien, Rain Carradine with her barrels blazing. Overall, a very effective trailer. I was sold before. I'm certainly even more hyped now. This is really all I need to see, and I can't say for sure if this is all we'll be getting from now until release. It's the beginning of June now, so it's a healthy period of waiting time. Possibly we'll get another trailer, but I'd say this is likely where the trailers end. Maybe a few TV spots and ads closer to the release that may show a little bit more, but honestly, this is plenty for me. I'd still like to go in as fresh as I can, and Alvarez has expressed he doesn't want to give away too much either. He's also expressed that Romulus is meant to feel like a mix of Alien and Aliens, as he has a love and devotion to each of those films. You can definitely see the inspiration from each, and maybe even a little bit from Alien 3, too. So the atmosphere feels right at home. There are undeniable visual reminiscences, though I do hope this isn't going to be an Easter egg-heavy film where if you're a fan you're spotting something every 5 seconds. I think a little bit goes a long way, and I don't feel especially worried about that since there are certain types of visuals you'd expect from an alien film anyway. What I'm most curious about, and what I suspect has been hidden well so far, are the original, surprising aspects that we haven't seen before. So that's what excites me most, and why I don't really feel like anything too much has been given away by this trailer. Since the release of the teaser trailer back in March, I had went to see The Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes, and recently watched The First Omen on streaming. Two very different movies from very different franchises, but their commonality, of course, is that the franchises were originally from 20th Century Fox, now 20th Century Studios, owned by Disney. Each, I thought, were great entries, and really true to their respective series of films. Those two movies, along with 2022's Prey, from Daniel Trachtenberg, have more than proved to me that 20th Century Studios has a really good handle on the franchise legacies they have opted to continue. I expect good things, overall. I think I've reached the optimistic and don't give a fuck stage by now. You can go to the comments, say Disney sucks, blah blah blah, okay, have fun. But the tide is turning here. I've moved from cautiously optimistic to just straight out hyped, genuinely excited. And I know other people have been feeling the same way. And that's not necessarily an easy thing to do. You really have to put your heart out there. You have to be ready to love again. And you have to be prepared to be disappointed. It could happen, so there's risk there. But what if it meets and even exceeds the expectations? What if it turns out to be the alien movie we've all been waiting for since 1986? That is an exciting prospect. We are in that rare and short period of time where we just don't really know. It could go any number of ways, and there's something exciting about that in and of itself. But I'll be there, August 16th, no doubt. Let me know how you feel in the comments below. I'll see you next time, and until then, this is Alien Theory, signing off.